Welcome to Knicks Home Court with your host. My name is Greg Armstrong. This is episode number 39. Kristaps Porzingis. There's a report from Ian Begley saying that Cleveland Cavaliers' primary target in a trade would be someone like Kristaps Porzingis. If it's the Knicks, it would be Kristaps Porzingis. And I say hell no. I say hell no. I say hell to the fucking no. Not trading him for Kyrie. For various reasons, and let me start now. One, Kyrie is a one-way player. He's essentially a short Carmelo Anthony, but a short young Carmelo Anthony, which is an unstoppable force. I want to be clear. Young Carmelo Anthony was an unstoppable offensive force. Yes, he was. But he still was a one-dimensional player. All that, even though that one dimension is going to put him in the Hall of Fame. And I think that Kyrie can go that same way. However, and two, Kyrie Irving right now is a better player than Kristaps Porzingis. Yes, he is. Will Kristaps ever be as good as Kyrie? I don't know. Offensively, maybe not. Maybe so. But defensively, he's already light years better than him. Kyrie will never be the defensive player that Porzingis is now. Not even saying that Porzingis what he could be. Not even mentioning his defensive potential. Just what he is now. Porzingis is not a great player yet, but he is definitely a two-way player. He's a two-way, three-point shooting, crossover having, lethal jump shot, shot blocking, jump shot catching, 7'3" unicorn. You don't fucking trade that, because you know what? You don't even know what the limit for this kid is. And I'll tell you this, in this era of super teams, what people don't mention is, in order to win a championship in the NBA, you need a super duper star. You need a transcendent player like LeBron, like Curry, like Durant. Durant is 6'11" and handles the ball like a 6'5" guy. So I could see, that's why when I look at teams like a Toronto, they're never going to win a championship, obviously. They don't have a transcendent player. They have good players, but they would have to have 8 really good players to win a championship, like how Detroit had basically 8 very good players when Chauncey Billups was on the team. Very good players across the board, good bench, great defense, really great defense. But other than that, you need a transcendent player if you're going to win a championship. And when I look at Kristaps Porzingis, I see a transcendent player, something that you've never seen before. Because keep in mind, the world has, and I'm mentioning LeBron, and people say, oh, you're mentioning LeBron in the same breath as Kristaps Porzingis. Yes, I am, because he's 7'3" and athletic and coordinated. The closest thing to him that I've ever seen is Ralph Sampson. But Kristaps has better handles than that. And he's a worker. Look. Reason number 3. 7'3", 6'3". Basically, one whole foot. That's another reason. It's just a rule in the NBA, you never trade big for small. It's just the rule. You just don't do that. Unless it's a plotting big. He's not a big. He's not a plotting big. He's basically what you call a new age big man. He's exactly this era's big man. Now, right now, I would say Karl Anthony Towns is better than Kristaps Porzingis. Will Porzingis ever be better than Towns? I don't know. Because Towns is fucking spectacular. He's fucking special. But I do think Kristaps, with his defensive potential, could give him the edge eventually over Karl Anthony Towns. You see, what separates the real great ones from just the great ones, what makes one transcendent as opposed to just really great, like Melo was really great. In his heyday, in his best day, he was really great. What made LeBron transcendent is that he was elite defensively and elite offensively. Kobe was elite defensively, elite offensively. You know, I don't have to mention Jordan. Jordan was the GOAT. There's nothing else. He literally was probably one of the best defensive players in history. Nobody ever talks about that. Jordan probably was the best defensive player in history. That's how great he is. That's why I always tell, like, if people ask me if I started a team today, who would I start it with? And they never mention Kawhi Leonard. And I'm like, do you understand? Kawhi Leonard is a two-way wing. And not just the two-way wing, but literally the best defensive player in the league. Now his offense has almost caught up to his defense. I mean, he had Golden State shook until he got injured. Don't sleep on Kawhi, man. He's special. He's special. You know what I'm saying? I'm bugging, like, and that's why I'm laughing, because I'm listening. I mean, Knicks fans, man, look, I like Kyrie. He'll be fun to watch. He'll be fun to watch. It'll be fun watching us lose these games. Not saying we're going to win with Kristaps right now. But see, you need to win in the NBA, you need a team full of two-way players. At least 3 starters who are two-way players. Just look at all the best teams. That's why Cleveland had a lot of problems, because really they didn't have no two-way players anymore. LeBron is not as great as he used to be on defense. He's okay. He's not really. Tristan Thompson's a good defender, is not really good on offense. J.R. Smith is a good offensive player, not good on defense. Kyrie sucks on defense, or plays defense every now and then. And then you look at Golden State, people just talking about talent. It's not just talent. Klay Thompson's a two-way player, a lethal scorer and shooter, and a devastating defensive player. Curry is not, he's an okay two-way player. In other words, Curry can be isolated and taken advantage of, so they can hide him with Klay Thompson, Kevin Durant, who's a two-way player, and Draymond Green. So all around, Curry is defense. So you can hide Curry, you know? So when I look at the Knicks and what they're trying to build here, you got Frank Ntilikina, who, like I said, he may not be good right away offensively, but one thing he will be is he's going to be good from day one on defense. He's a 6'5" blanket. He will be good day one on defense. So now at the point of attack, you got good defense. And if Kristaps is playing the 4, which is okay, he can play the 4 or the 5. If he's playing the 4, he's going to get a lot of weak side blocks. If he's playing the 5, he's going to be the last line of defense. Either way, it's going to be good. Either way. You need two-way players. I'm going to tell you, Hardaway right now, he's not really a two-way player. So you got Frank Ntilikina next to him, hopefully, as the season progresses. Then, now I don't know if I think we're still going to have Melo. I really don't think Melo's going to get traded, maybe at the halfway point. I really think what's going to happen is, I think, and deep down inside in Melo's heart, now a trade might go down tomorrow, but like I said, deep down in Melo's heart, I don't think he really wants to leave. I don't think he wants to leave. You know what I'm saying? I don't think he wants to leave. And if he's healthy, he's 2 years removed from his knee injury, he might be wanting to prove that last year was an aberration, that it was just a triangle. The reason why the Knicks look like that. There's going to be a concerted effort there's going to be some camaraderie, I believe, next season for the Knicks. There's going to be some camaraderie. Why? Because they're going to be out from the Phil Jackson shadow. Just that alone is going to make them better. Hornacek is coaching for his job. Don't let nobody fool you. He's coaching for his job this season. And the East sucks this year. You got 3 teams that are not going to be in the playoffs. They already tanking 3 teams that were in the playoffs. But I digress. Let me get back to Cleveland has some goddamn nerve. Cleveland has some nerve. Do y'all really think y'all going to get our best player when your player wants to leave? I know he has 2 years on his contract, but the fact that you even consider us lets me know that you're not going to trade him to somewhere he doesn't want to go. Because the reason why is because if you try to trade him to a team that he doesn't want to go to, that team is not going to want to give you a lot of good assets. That team's not going to want to give you a lot of good assets. It's not an Oklahoma City getting the Paul George thing. They didn't give up great assets. They gave up Oladipo. They gave up chump change for him, for Paul George. They want a king's ransom for Kyrie Irving. They want a young, budding star back. They want a Kristaps Porzingis, a Karl Anthony Towns. They want a Jason Tatum and a Jaylen Brown. You know, they want a lot back for a guy who wants to leave. And guess what, Cleveland? Nah, y'all ain't built for that shit. No NBA team should trade for Kyrie right now. Not saying they don't want him, but Cleveland's asking price, first of all, it's the art of negotiation. You start high, and then you deal from there. Because if Cleveland just says, oh, just give me a first-round draft pick and Carmelo Anthony. Nah, they're not desperate. They don't have to move him right away. But, hey, they may not want to start the season with him. And I'm going to tell you what Cleveland needs. They don't need a point guard. They need more shooters and shot creators. They don't really need a point guard. Come on. And I've been saying this about LeBron. As much as I love LeBron, because I do think LeBron's great and I do love him. But LeBron, I think there's a little bit of lacking in his game from not playing in college. Like, I've never seen LeBron be a part of a system. He always controls the ball. I've never seen him. So that's why if you look at Miami, Cleveland should want to mimic Miami. Have a three-point shooter at point guard. Like Chalmers will bring the ball up, give it to Wade or give it to LeBron, and he would stand by the three-point line and he'll have open threes all the time. That is the best kind of system for LeBron because he's the point guard. So that's why him and Kyrie really taking turns. They really had no offensive system. There was no real offensive system. If you looked at it, they beat, really, to tell you the truth, Golden State choked last year. And I don't want to hear nothing about Draymond missed a game. They had 2 more games to win that series. Golden State choked. The year later, that old Kyrie's going to score and then LeBron, that's just not going to work. You need a system and you need to get other guys involved. And if you look at Miami, that was a better team than Cleveland, but they also got other guys involved. Chalmers, Mike Miller, when Ray Allen came. You know, they had more of a system-type basketball, and you do need a system. Don't get it twisted. You may not need a triangle, but you need a system to win in the playoffs. Because when all else fails, you rely on your system. If you look in Golden State, when Golden State plays teams, their system is setting off-ball picks, off-ball picks, off-ball picks. They will pick you to death, off-ball picks. They continue to do that no matter what. If they're hitting shots or missing shots, they continue going on with their system. So again, I'm completely against trading Kristaps Porzingis. Actually, I'm against trading him for anybody. And I know that sounds crazy, but I just want to see, as a Knicks fan, us stand pat for a goddamn change. I just want to see us develop our players and our own team. I mean, look, I'm not worried about if the Knicks suck this year. They sucked last year and the year before. But at least they'll have young players, and we can at least have a little bit of hope to watch. Maybe they'll suck this year, and maybe at the end of the season, you'll start to see players start to excel. That's how teams get better. Or sometimes they'll suck in the beginning and then make a playoff push with the young guys. Who doesn't want to see that? Who doesn't want to see that? And the thing is, the key to building a good team is chemistry and camaraderie. And you can't have that if you keep changing, moving people around. We're not one player away. It makes no sense to trade for Kyrie right now. No sense at all. And by the way, like I said about Frank Ntilikina, and I'm not comparing him to Kyrie. No, he may never be as good as Kyrie. But there's a difference between a really good player and a winning player. And Kyrie won a championship, so I can't say he's not a winning player. But what I mean is, Mario Chalmers was also a winning player. Never was a star. But he'll make the key steal. He'll hit the key shot. He'll make the key layup. Because if you forget about Chalmers, he's going to score on you. That's a winning player. And when I look at Frank Ntilikina, even if he never becomes a star and he just becomes a star, he'll be making winning plays on that court. A key steal, a key charge, a key block, a key rebound. That's winning plays, and that's what winning players do. And I'm going to tell you another good thing that I like about Kristaps is he's an unselfish player, and I believe he's going to be an unselfish star, and unselfish stars make very good leaders. Because I've seen him be on the court with other players without Melo on there, and he won't dominate the ball. He makes the right play. He always tries to make the right play. You know, so I'm not down for this move. And you know, oh God, they just float shit out there sometimes. They just floating things out there. You know, hey, Kyrie. I don't think it makes any sense to make a trade because you're gonna suck. And Kyrie already, if you trade Kristaps for Kyrie, you're gonna suck, right? Unless you keep Melo, maybe you'll make the playoffs. However, he's leaving in 2 years, or his contract is up in 2 years. And then you're gonna be in the same situation that Sacramento Kings found themselves in, with a player like DeMarcus Cousins with all his talent, but never winning. And then now he's up for the Supermax. It's like, yo, we got to get rid of dude. We can't pay him because we're losing with him. We never, like teams, see, this is the game right now. Teams have to figure out, that's why there's always going to be stars available for trades. That's going to be the new NBA. Stars will be available. Because if a team can't build, like even DeMarcus Cousins might be available by the middle. If they're not making a playoff push this year, he might be available by the deadline. And when you look at it, it's because teams going to have to make a serious financial decision. Do I pay this guy $35 million a year and we've never made the playoffs? And that's what would happen, I believe. If you get Kyrie, we might be decent, but then you're going to have to pay him ridiculous money, and you wouldn't even build yet. That's why a player like Kyrie, you add him later, like Golden State did. They added Kevin Durant later. That's what you do. That's the only way to do it. You keep going with Kristaps, who's cheap right now. He's still cheap. He's still on a rookie deal, and he's worth every penny of that rookie deal and then some, and you go from there. So I just hope, you know, and understand this. This is the game that agents, GMs, news people always play. They love to mention the Knicks in any scenario, in every scenario. They love to do that because when New York name is in it, it gets retweeted and talked about millions of times. And that's a way to spread news to other places. So don't be fooled when you see a report. It doesn't mean they're lying, but the Knicks, they like to use the Knicks. They like to use the New York area because Knicks have fans everywhere, basically. It's weird, right? They have fans everywhere. No matter how much they losing, they got fans in California. They got fans everywhere. So I'm just looking forward to this season. I am. I'm looking forward to the young pups. I want to see what they do. And if Melo's still on the team, I'm looking forward to Melo being here too, but being number 2 and not number 1. Melo got to be prepared for that. And that's something that Hornacek got to tell him, listen, we might bring you back. Oh, but I want to go to Houston. I understand you want to go to Houston, but we want to trade you to Portland, but you don't want to go to Portland. So guess what? You got to come back. And then after this year, if you don't like it, opt out, homeboy. Fuck that. We're not releasing you. We're not going to just give you away and take back Ryan Anderson. And you know what? This is not getting enough attention, and this is not getting enough respect. That the fact that the Knicks are like, we're not taking Ryan Anderson unless you give us 3 draft picks. Straight up, 3 first-round draft picks for the next 3 years. And I don't even know if that's enough because I don't want his money on my books for the next 3 years. We already got Noah. If we didn't, I'm going to tell you like this, to be honest, if the Knicks didn't have Joakim Noah, I think the Knicks might even consider making that trade. But they have dead money already on the contract. They're going to get more dead money? Come on. Now, what Philly did, Philly would take on dead money, but take on multiple draft picks. And apparently, Houston doesn't want to give up draft picks. Not enough to get Carmelo Anthony. Because don't make no mistake, Ryan Anderson's a good player. He's not a bum. He'll come here and he'll be good. He'll be decent. He'll be hitting threes and shit. But he plays no D. We don't need another shooter who plays no D. You know, get him the fuck out of here. You know, so I'm happy the Knicks are standing pat. And, you know, by the way, I wanted to just make a remark. I've been hearing this lately. There's been this talk about LeBron. Who's better, LeBron or Kobe? LeBron or Kobe? Because first of all, I don't think LeBron is in Jordan's league. And a lot of times, this is the problem with a lot of people, is that they're prisoners of the moment. See, I lived through the Jordan hysteria and the Jordan... I lived through that. And the difference is I've seen LeBron's whole career and I've seen Jordan's whole career. See, a lot of people who are saying LeBron's better, they have only seen YouTube videos of Jordan. They didn't see the intimidation that he put in other stars' hearts. They didn't see a lot of shit. You don't see the day-to-day. You got to see the day-to-day to really understand how great Jordan was. So I'm going to take him out the argument. Now, Kobe, I just want to make this real quick point. Who's better? It depends on how you look at it. If you go longevity, if you go career, if you go, I got to say LeBron. But if you say at their best, at their very best, at their peak, at their best ability, who's better? Kobe. Because if you remember, when LeBron was killing people, busting ass in Cleveland, when they were winning 60 games but not making it to the finals, Kobe was still considered the best player in the NBA. Do you remember that? And Kobe was older than LeBron. And he was still considered, they used to always say, yeah, LeBron's good, but it's still Kobe's league. And LeBron was at his best. He didn't get better from there. He just got to a better team. So at LeBron's peak, now this season he was amazing, I must say. But at LeBron's peak, he had some peak years there where Cleveland, when Mike Brown was the coach, and Cleveland was winning 60 games, Kobe was still considered the best player in the NBA at both of their peaks. You can look it up. I think Kobe was in year 9 or something, and LeBron was in year 5 or something like that. You know, I don't have it, on hand. So at their peak, I would say Kobe's better. Longevity, I would say LeBron is better. And LeBron's going to knock down most of the records anyway. It's almost like the rap thing. I used to always wonder why they consider Biggie top 5 all time. And the reason why is not longevity, but at Biggie's peak, come on, man, he changed the game. He put New York on his back. So that counts for something. Like if people say who's better, Biggie or Jay-Z, I'm going to say Biggie, because Jay-Z's never had a peak like Biggie. As good as Jay-Z is, he's had a lot of good continued success and longevity, but he's never had a peak that Biggie Smalls had. And I don't think people remember when Biggie Smalls, and I know I'm talking about rap right now, but I'm just making a comparison. When Biggie Smalls made that song, when he had that video, One More Chance, when he had all the stars in there, and that song, that Janet Jackson and Michael Jackson had made that record scream. It was number 1. When Biggie dropped One More Chance, he took over the number 1 slot. Yes, Biggie took the number 1 slot from Janet Jackson and Michael Jackson. Jay-Z has never had a peak like that in his career. But anyway, off of that, I just wanted to make that point so you can understand where I'm coming from. But again, how do you feel about a Knicks roster starting or top 8 players, starting 5? Now, not in any order, but I'm gonna go with a little bit of wishful thinking, just for food for thought as I'm gonna finish this podcast. Point guard, Frank Ntilikina. Shooting guard, Tim Hardaway Jr. Small forward, Carmelo Anthony. Power forward, Kristaps Porzingis. Center, Billy Hernan Gomez. Bench, first guy off the bench, Courtney Lee. Next guy off the bench, Ron Baker. You got Lance Thomas coming off the bench. Am I forgetting someone? That's just 3, of course. You got Kylo Quinn also coming off the bench. You also have Kuzminskis coming off the bench. Not great players, but that's a decent bench that's been together. You know, I didn't mention Ramon Sessions. I didn't mention Michael Beasley, who can be either 9 and 10 man or 6 and 7 man. So I think the Knicks have a decent team going into the season. I'm not saying, now let me be clear for all the Knick turds. I mean, some Knick fans, yeah, I call them, some of them turds, because it's always the sky is falling. I'm not saying they're going to win a championship. I'm not even saying they're going to make the playoffs. I'm saying they're going to be competitive. If they put that team on the court, they're going to be competitive. They could be anywhere between 30 and 35 wins. On the low end, they could be anywhere from 35 to 40 wins. And honestly, you win 35 wins, you're in the playoffs this season. And I want to see Kristaps in the playoffs. I'm going to be consistent with that. I'm not down with tanking. I want to see Kristaps in the playoffs. I want to see these young players in the playoffs making moves. And I didn't even mention Damian Dotson as well. Damian Dotson's another, who's that? He's 11th man. So, I mean, I like the roster going to the season. They're not world beaters. They're not going to win a championship. But I think this can be a playoff team. And I think when Melo's looking at this, he's like, damn, we're going to run and gun? We finally going to run and gun the way I like to play? Have me wide open for three-pointers in the fast break? Maybe I want to get us a chance. Maybe, you know, and I think what's going to happen again, like I said before, they're going to start the season with Melo on the roster, and then they're going to see how it goes. Now, if they're playoff bound or over 500 or 8th seed, 7th seed by the time trading deadline rolls around, now the Knicks can play hardball. Because if you're a 7th or 8th seed come February, are you going to trade Carmelo Anthony at that point and just say, fuck it, let's just trade our way out of the playoffs? That don't make any sense. Now, but if you suck by the time February rolls around and you have injuries and the team is not doing well, then you consider trading Melo. Then you consider trading Courtney Lee as well and Kyle O'Quinn. Then you start to really, really tear it down. But if they start off and they have a good record, because you got to understand, there's going to be a lot of wins in their schedule. And the new schedule just came out. There's a lot of wins in there because the East sucks. There's going to be some wins in there. There's teams in there that are trying to lose. So anyway, that's all I got to say on the matter. This brings us to the end of this podcast, episode number 39. And I'm your host. My name is Greg Armstrong. Y'all have a good day, good night. Peace.